In here, I am going to follow what has been mentioned in Ferguson's article. So, for the criteria that differentiate between higher and lower varieties, the first one is function. So, function refers to the role assigned to a given code or a given variety. That is, which function is associated to which variety. He says that one of the most important features of diglossia is specialization of function for high and lower varieties. That is, in which conditions and for what circumstances shall we use a high variety, and in which other circumstances are we going to use the low variety. So for this, he has given some very interesting examples illustrating the use of higher and lower varieties. By the way, the article can be downloaded from the e-learning platform of the university. So he states that a higher variety exists in formal contexts and informal and formal speech, like in church and mosques, and in personal letters. When we write something academic or a given letter, when we have something that is written, it is written or given in a high variety. Some type of political speech, or the speech that is delivered in parliament or in lectures or in conferences and so forth, all these should be exercised or delivered in higher varieties. Whereas something that is very informal, very casual, like talking to waiters or workmen, talking with friends and family members, and even folk literature. That is, things that are informal, they can be exercised or given in a low variety. He has given also a very, let's say, it's funny, but it's real. Like, if an outsider wants to learn or starts to speak fluently a given language, and he starts to use the low variety in formal speech, then he is going to be subject to ridicule. That is, he is going to be mocked at. Why? Because he is not using language appropriately. Similarly, if another member of the community is going to use the high variety in, let's say, conversational situations or informal contexts or things that are very, let's say, casual, he is also going to be subject to ridicule, and he is going to be mocked at. So in this case, there is a differentiation between the use of the high variety and the low variety, where this one is adequate, where the other one is adequate. That is, in which context there is a division and quite a differentiation between where each variety should be used and which function each one is possessing. The second criterion is prestige. Whenever we refer to prestige, or when we hear the term prestige, it actually refers to something that is very appreciative. It has a value, and the belief associated to the positivity or to the value of something. Like this, even higher and lower varieties have certain beliefs associated to them, or feelings associated to them. He says that in the defining languages, which means the foreign languages that he is studying in his article, among them is Arabic. In all the languages, speakers regard the high variety as superior to the low variety. Like, this is something undeniable, that the higher varieties are, let's say, more appreciative and have more esteem and superior than lower varieties, and show real prestige, or they sound prestigious. And he states in the criteria of prestige or the appreciation of language, or how can language be, or a given code, or the high variety can be seen, he states, there is usually a belief that the high variety is more beautiful, more logical, and better able to express important thoughts. You see, that if we try to take an example and illustrate this in concretely, like standard Arabic, for example, has richness of language. It's more beautiful. It's one meaning can be expressed throughout different vocabulary, different lexemes, and so forth. It is more logical and better in expressing thoughts, and it has the effectiveness of communication. He mentioned it here, the effectiveness of communication, and this means that like when a meaning is conveyed in the standard language, in the high variety language, and someone is using, let's say, standard Arabic, which is very formal, very clean, very clear, using sophisticated, let's say, vocabulary and more beautiful structures, he's of course going to be seen as prestigious. So, like that, high varieties are seen more prestigious than lower varieties. Like lower variety is often seen as something very casual and informal, though I disagree in some sense that there is some prestige associated with some varieties and some, let's say, dialects, such as the dialect spoken in Algeria.